Good morning, it's Mark Lanier with your video thought for the day. So this week, I've been looking at the writings of the Apostle Paul, not for his deep theology, but for his practical advice for living. And I'm giving us chores to do each day. So Monday's chore, if you missed the video, was to encourage 3 people. Yesterday's chore was to show honor to people by the way we act as well as by what we might say. Today's is slightly different. Today I want to turn the focus a little bit on how we view our own life in very practical terms, because that will affect how we live towards others. And so this passage today comes from Paul's letter to the Philippians. And in the 3rd chapter, Paul goes on quite an exhaustive list of how Paul is not perfect. Even the Apostle Paul had not only bad things in his past that he'd done wrong, but he still struggled to try and do the best that he could. Now, having said that, the Apostle Paul had done some amazing things. He'd written some of the most important letters. He'd given his life in mission efforts for God to teach people about Jesus and sacrifice so much personally to do that. Well, within the framework of that comes this interesting little passage in Philippians chapter 3, where Paul says that one of the things he's done is he has put behind him, forgetting what lies behind, he presses on toward the goal of the upward calling of Christ. Now, I want us to think about this for a moment, because I want us to try and do something very practical about this today. Paul says, forgetting what lies behind, I press on toward the goal of where I'm headed. Now, what lied behind for Paul and what lies behind for you and me are probably things we could put into a couple of different categories. One category will be the sins and the mistakes and the errors that we've made that weigh us down. You know, places where we haven't been the person we should be, maybe haven't been the spouse we should be, or the parent we should be, or the child we should be. Maybe haven't been the friend we should be, haven't just been what we should be before God. Those things can weigh us down. And if we live in the guilt of the past, once we've experienced the forgiveness of God, then we're not living the vibrant life that God calls us to live. So that's one area of things that we need to set behind us. A second area, though, are the trophies, where we've done well, where we've accomplished things for God, where we have shown love to our family, commitment to a task, where God's used us for wonderful things. And those are nice, but we shouldn't be dwelling on the trophies and the accomplishments that we've had before. We need to set all of those things behind us, and we need to concentrate on the goal of the upward calling of God for us in Christ. Because God has something planned for you and me. He's got holiness planned for us. He wants us to do better in our life. He's got work for us to do for Him and for His kingdom, ways that we show His love to others who need His love. So here's the challenge. Here's the deliberate steps, your chore for today in today's video thought. This is the chore I'm giving myself. I am not going to let the successes or failures of the past dictate what I do or what I think or how I feel. I am going to, in prayer to God, say, God, I release the past to you. I'm thankful for your forgiveness for my mistakes, and I'm thankful for the ways you've used me. But Lord, my focus right now is on how I can walk today and tomorrow for you. And so that's the 2-part chore today. 1, let's say that prayer to God. But 2, let's look for a specific way today that we can be better. Maybe that we're going to eat better, something that simple. Maybe that we're going to exercise. Maybe that we're going to speak kindly to people. Maybe we're going to work on being patient. Maybe we're going to work on serving someone, a random act of kindness. There's so many ways we can do that, but that's the chore for today. Prayer to put the past behind and seeking to live today for God. That's your video thought for the day. One more chore tomorrow.